For 7, they won.
It seems like that's going to kind of continue, I suppose. It's a little bit kinder on the lean, but
still, as you say, isolating a lot of this south side. Teams will start to drop out. I think we saw Picado hot drop start to get a little bit louder yesterday in Miramar, in the second Miramar game. Is that going to repeat itself? We'll have to find out.
I mean, I think so. I think Vampire's feeling really confident now. For Stalwarts Esports, this was a similar plane path which had them stretched to the north of Picado for vehicles, and we saw them just get driven down by a party bus. And they were getting Winchestered and shotgunned as they were trying to get their bike to start. So maybe they'll adjust their drops just a little bit to avoid that situation once again. And we have a very, very new, different type of Miramar circle for today. I love this one. Up to the northwest.
Centering up in Crater Fields and near El Pozo, they will have to move out that way. A lot of teams actually dropping near Picado, so a lot of vehicles will be slurped up and away from that. So potentially this engagement with the Pittsburgh Knights could be elongated by the fact that they won't have as many opportunities to grab vehicles and get away from this.
Oh, don't let him get on that bike. Oh! The bike and wait, a bike and a buggy spawn that close to each other?
Maybe. I mean, I guess they must have done, right?
Huh. Unless that's like a new update behind those vehicles that are so elusive.
Just trying to grab them, and everybody will be looking for them, probably more fervently than even usual, because normally you're looking for them quite eagerly, but this time around you will need to get on those bikes a little bit earlier, especially if you want to escape order, because you're going to have to go pretty far on this northwest rotate. So teams looting down south going to have the hardest time of it. Probably that west road is going to be a really important piece of land to control. Bacon Time currently in the lead on it, moving towards El Pozo.
And I'm surprised HVVV actually looting all the way down in the southeast. We saw them do, I do believe it was La Cabrera that they usually take. This would have been perfect for them, right? They would have just jumped off the plane early, drove up to the north, and got in a huge northern circle. So now, this time around, well, actually, I think it works out for HPVV. They just don't have the circle, which is what they always play with. Not having the circle, right? So Warpath initiated for HVVP. We'll see in the next coming moments what they could do. Alpha 7 right here on the far northeast once again. So I think this is their claimed drop spot regardless of plane path. They like to start in from the northeast when it comes to Miramar.
HVVP were able to maintain the 20-point barrier that they had between themselves and second place. It was EVOS in second place for this time around. It's Alpha 7 who did step up a little bit more in that last game, but they still have that 20-point buffer. So HVVP definitely still in charge of this lobby. I'll have to figure out how they want to move into this next one. I imagine that one from Valle de Mar will try and head up that west coast fairly soon. HVVP might have a little bit more of a firecracker lit underneath them because they are really on the long side behind everybody in the queue.
We're only 4.5 minutes in, and the center of the circle's already starting to fill up. Players setting up on those high ground positions. These players have barely had any time to loot, but they understand the importance of having terrain control, especially with these high hilltops. And the Knights already, they left Picado. There has been no engagement, and they're prioritizing a rotation. All 4 members of the Knights and 1 bus.
Scoping out the opposing hillside, spots just a sliver of a vehicle and instantly zeroes on it. Take the shots though, they'll have that information.
I think that's his teammate's vehicle, yeah. That is taking a look at the map.
Okay.
Yeah, they already have a split on the north side and the south side. And you saw level 1 helmet, red dot. Not the best gear to be holding up, on that high ground, but it's all about the presence. As long as they can pop off some shots up there, teams will keep their head down and, think better of it.
Nova moving in from the east side. They're moving currently through past Hacienda del Patron on their west. Not quite in the circle. The circle is just a little bit to their west. Not too far at all, though. It's only about 200 meters to their west. So they are going to probably look to swing out towards the north and through Alpha 7's path.
Very fast rotations for everybody here. This is like 5 to 6 minutes, and everyone's already on the road trying to get a good position. I think it also has to do with the fact that this circle is like unfamiliar, so they'd rather not chance it by taking their time and just get there quickly. And wow, nice shot. Xenox actually getting that one with the Uzi. So the Knights with a very fast early rotation pays out for them. They managed to pick up 1 point and probably pick up the loot for that Skylights Gaming player.
Really nice for the books. 1 million in the meantime, there on that west side as well, trying to take advantage of the empty space that will be ahead, moving up past Trailer Park now. Vacant time, spotted Fireflux's rotation around in these crater fields, but again, not really going to take these shots, not going to show presence.
I mean, the ammo supply must be very low, for those two players up on the hilltop. They were there, it's like sub 5 minutes. So they want to make sure when they do shoot, it's to confirm eliminations or get, at least for sure, get a knock. So spraying all those bullets at moving vehicles is probably not the best of ideas. You do Alliance here on the south side, south edge of the circle almost, slowly making their way in, doing some good scouting right there, spotting out the player of the Knights.
Evos still moving in on this east side. They started the day up in second place. They slipped a little bit, but still very much in that conversation. From their solo play from Microboy, they definitely kept themselves there. 69 points right now. It'd be nice for them to get a little bit more and gain some of that ground back over towards Alpha 7. But HVVP, the prize at the top right now, still yet to let it slip fully. They're playing, as you said, very far back on that south side of the circle. They're not even going to swing out west.
Yeah, I think when you're rotating in this late, you just wait to see which side the circle shifts to, the east or the west. If you commit to the west this late and then the circle shifts to the east, you're just playing constant catch up. So, well, I mean, that works out for HVVP. Just have the circle go down right towards you. Very far shift down to the south. I wish it kind of stayed more up in the north. We get to see Crater Fields in play, but this area of power grid and those mountaintops down on the south still makes for very interesting gameplay.
There's a lot of roads cutting through this as well. The hilltops that Baker Time operate on right now, really, really valuable to get that high ground peak. We've seen it be super, super impactful just a little bit further south of them, over the fields to the southeast of El Paso. Power grid as well, a major feature in this next circle. Teams looking to move down south, crunching in. The path on the west is going to be chocker with about 4 teams. On the east, though, I think there's going to be a couple more moving through San Martin.
Yeah, the northeast is going to get very, very difficult to traverse. You have that just one roadway, but surrounded by high ground, which I see multiple teams already taking. There's going to be a lot of fighting potentially on the northeast. A bit more manageable on the western side, but either way, this circle is not very friendly for anybody when it shifted down that hard to the south.
I mean, other than HVVP, right? Like
Skylight versus by
that's just gravy on top of the meal.
1 million भाई
1 million spot a player
कौन जीतेगा
Skylights Gaming.
भाई Skylight खतरनाक है भाई 1 million भी अच्छा खेला है कल से भाई.
Allow the revive either. Nima definitely going to get flushed out here, and there's just the full disengage coming through.
Yeah, instantly. 1 million yesterday, they were holding 3rd place. And we were quite surprised because they had quiet, consistent performances. But I don't feel like that's enough because they have slipped down to 8th place overall. Maybe today, coming into a new day, they're going to ramp up their aggression, maybe just a little bit, or at least, try and stick their heads out, to have one of those bigger games rather than just consistent, small, top 5 finishes.
Million on the west side laid claim to their position. Podso not really going to be challenged by anyone at this stage, so they're going to have to figure out how to leave it, I suppose, fairly soon at this point. It's going to be tricky with Bacon Time operating on the high ground to their east side.
Nova versus
Nova
Power के बंदे
moving into the north side up towards the top of
the
the
fight
hill near
तो
Power.
fight लग गई
If they can't fight them over on Erangel, why not take this fight
fight
over
लग गई यार
on
उसको
It's either Nova versus Power
Nova या
versus
Power के बंदे कौन जीतेगा भाई गेस करो कमेंट करके बताओ
Like on the far north
फाइट होने कौन जीतेगा
I don't think they're going to commit to that whatsoever because once again Circle going down south right on top of HVVP. I mean, talk about getting Circle blessed. I mean as far as HVVP is concerned, they didn't even need it, but they'll take it.
You do take those. They're playing a solid four-way split right now on some high ground, controlling a lot of the open space. Dam 1 will move down south and try and swing in through on the road to the southeast of Monte Nuevo. This kind of is good news for a couple of teams as well, because it means that the road isn't going to be a major feature into these final circles.
Taking a look at Evos here. They are on that northeastern edge of the zone, right next to Power Grid, taking the dips, and there's multiple little goalies and dips all around Power Grid. Might see quite a few teams just all converge around that area coming in from the northeastern side. The Knights picking up
PK
another
versus
nice
FF.
little elimination. This might be more than just one, as Solus trying to get out of there as quickly as possible with that buggy.
FF तो बग गए
Solus continues to head down south, but still Xenox peppering away. UMP though needs a reload, needs a refresh. Fortunately,
Mini red dot भाई
Mini 14 on the red dot.
Mini 14 on the red dot on a buggy driving horizontally. That's not an easy shot to make, man. Coops.
It's Coops things, man.
It's just Coops things, of course.
Alpha 7 के बंदे भाई PK बस Alpha 7 आ गया
Well, Tensor now with his own
गया
challenge coming on
PK
through.
बंदे
Alpha
down
7 rolling over the top of the hill. Carrillo.
अरे पीछे से बैकअप करो गया
Will get run down with a rear tire slamming in. Coops now up to the mantle. Can he perform Coops things, or they're just going to look to disengage?
अरे बैकअप करना चाहिए क्या कर रहे थे बंदे
Too much ground to play with. It might be better to try and prioritize position, but looks like they want to surround, try and swarm on Alpha 7.
They have an opportunity in the shape of Xenox.
गया
Just as I say that,
Alpha 7 के बंदे बहुत खतरनाक है भाई पर एग्रेसिव खेलता है
he gets caught out. Alpha 7's their positioning, their awareness just too strong. Now the Knights are forced to retreat, but you can bet your butt Alpha 7 is going to decide to push that because it's a 4v2 and this is Alpha 7 we're talking about.
Yeah, looks like they're going to look to mount up. In the meantime, HVVP are controlling out. It's playing a little bit split right now. Still, I would say a 2-1-1 at this stage.
Okay.
Meku kind of split from Kitsune. I'm counting them as 2. But Fireflux very, very close by. Top of the hills still occupied though. Right, Tixie, and I think that's Matic as well. Up the top of the high ground.
Oh, another fight here. Nova and Evos on the eastern edge. I think Nova's in a much better position. Circle goes to the west. So we got a split of high ground and low ground in play now.
Very,
very tricky for these teams on the east to navigate their way in. As you say, Evos, Nova on the precipice of a fight, but do they disengage here? I suppose with the knock coming in, Nova wants to try and put the pressure in, and will be able to find Micro Boy. A very valuable pickup on the Evos roster. Won't be able to accrue any points as a
come on, Beta Boy, come on. Boy, order it.
The spray from Order just continues to put that pressure on.
You can see with the way Nova plays, even with such a huge advantage, they play it, on the slower side of things.
तो King push कर रहा है Nova King push कर रहा है.
Sightlines exactly where they're going to play, so they're just going to take their time, and now they're going to spring into action. A few more Utos being thrown, and now
Jimmy
Evos is getting choked out.
बहुत अच्छे Jimmy खेल रहा है भाई.
Evos now down to that
1v3 हो गया.
the solo player remaining.
एक बंदे ने आखिर खा लिया. 1v2.
Just edged her way into
order
zone uncontested. Make that
order
4
जाने में
potentially.
थोड़ा सा
Just in the nick of time, he gets over that edge.
That was very, very close. Too close for comfort for Evos, but they'll play with a different solo this time around.
पास पे STE
Trying to make
और
his
लाइक
way
STE
in.
बगल पे
The last representative for the squad, Alpha 7. This is the crash that you were talking about. They are 4, there's only 2. This is what they go for. This is the shot, but Spec drops a nade right around the corner and Mythic eats it for breakfast. Unfortunately, it's not the most nutritious thing in the world. Coops, though, getting burnt away in the Pittsburgh Knights. They are not looking healthy. In fact, they will be down 16th place with 2 ellipses.
How did they know? How did they know Coops was in there? Out of all the compounds.
They know he's got to be somewhere, right?
STE ने एक को नॉक किया है
Maybe they spotted
इसको
Coops
नॉक किया
running in there. Coops thought he
STE वैसे इसको फाइट कर रहा है
but either way,
दिखाता है कि नहीं
play Smalley. Looking down on the south side on the low ground, we have Damwon and Inko. Inko right now with 3 players, I believe.
Damwon.
Right hand side. So many teams suffering
BWG.
casualties here. Damwon Gaming with 4. They had a huge game number 1. Game number 2, they're keeping 4 up, albeit in the low ground on the edge of the map, however.
Our northeast side, 4 players alive. Keeping that line together.
Oh,
Vampire,
power
similar
versus
position,
STE
similar area. Going to look for probably a very similar rotation. HVVP still continuing to
Oh,
exert
power
their
के बंदे एक
control
knock है
with order.
और
Taking
HVP
on
है
the
क्या
high ground. That's going to force a reposition. It's going to severely reduce the
Oh,
sidelines available.
Nova
HVVP
versus power
instantly responding
HVP
to try and move over towards
BVP
Pixie. They really want to look for this res, or at least try and find a little bit of an answer in a trade.
ऑर्डर आगे बढ़ रहा है
Love what I'm seeing.
हाई लिंक कर रहा है ऑर्डर
3 players of Nova in the backside, giving huge supporting different angle lines, and you got the one-man army of Order just pushing on up. Oh, he's got to be a little bit careful here. He should hear the footsteps of Matic and not get sideswept completely. And Order, it's taking shots from Meku. And no way.
Nailing it. He's nailing it in response.
Oh my god.
ऑर्डर नॉक पुश करो भाई
Slows it down, but with Meku out and bleeding, Nova can look to crash. Matic moves forward. Kitsune is there as well. 3 players are alive for Nova in the foothills, and HVVP's once stronghold is now coming crumbling down.
रिवाइव करो नहीं रहा
Res and Kitsune will dash out wide. They can't quite go fast forwards, and this is what HVVP are going to rely on. These positions not being available to them. Meku flushed out. Kitsune now left out in the open. Needs to play the cover.
This could still work out for HVVP though, because they have 2 on the high ground. They got that res, and essentially Nova's pincered in. One good nade could do them in. And taking a look at the minimap, I don't think either team's going to get third partied. Everyone else surrounding them are safe in a strong position in zone. I don't think they're going to, try and third party that fight. Damwon Gaming on the south side does get the edge of zone once again. Not so fortunate for Inko though. They lose that circle and they try and do some sort of push, but they are getting picked apart.
Only Vitu 2K remains for the squad. Northeast side of this engagement will fall down. Hang on a minute, that's a nade from Kitsune over onto King. So tune back in with the HVVP Nova fight. Damwon might try and push in and skirt around these hills, which is probably worse for Nova at this stage because the ground is being held.
No, नहीं गया
Just a little bit too slow. It doesn't quite make it all the way down. Paraboy and King stay safe in the divot.
भाई STE के बंदे क्या है मशीन गन लेके 4x चला रहा है
Sidelines actually HVVP don't get full control of the top to choke down Nova. We have some suppressive fire out of Stalwarts with 4 members alive this late into the game. This is a nice change of look coming out of them. This might be a big game as they do have that high ground. We'll see how they decide to play it though. As still slowly making their way into the
STE क्या कर रहा है यार मशीन गन प्लस 4x चला रहा है स्कारलेट के बंदे को नॉक किया वैम्पायर के बंदे को नॉक किया
fairly close to U2 Alliance on the southeast side of them, but have got this really solid cover on both sides of them as they occupy a valley. They're back probably their most vulnerable spot.
Yeah, so many dips to work with here. 1 million and Alpha 7 on the west
top
side.
Alpha
7 down to just 2 players. Mafioso
top
could get revived here, but they have the team of Skylights on the mountain.
Revive हो जाएगा मेरे ख्याल से top.
4-man team of 1 million. I see 1 player of 1 million driving over. seeing if he could set up onto the rest of the Alpha 7 team.
Top knock.
HBVP left the hilltop. They've sort of started to regroup towards Kitsune and the buildings to the western side. Probably going to be quite useful in these coming circles, but there is still catch to worry about. Godlike Stalwart holding off on the north side. Against Vampires, they try and crest a couple ridges. How dare they be so bold? They are sent back by the gunfire.
तो क्या है कंपाउंड को होल्ड करके रखा है ST के बंदे
14 team. Oh, said that too soon. 13 teams alive as Alpha 7 does get taken out. 1 million does spot a chance to strike, and they go for it. I was just saying, 1 million, very quiet, consistent
काम में करेगा क्या
but
ST
that has led them to slip down. I wanted to see them play a little bit bigger, a little bit louder, and they are starting to do that.
Certainly are. Puff up, create a presence. Still trying to push in against this solo hold, essentially. One nade through the window is going to be all that's needed. Bit too long on the cook there for the nade. Marshall wants to put another one in. Actually forcing Mr. Board on the outside. Still not finding the damage. How is he surviving this bombardment? I've no idea. But they want to put another one in. Do they think he's still in the building? I think they might do. In the meantime, Power moving up, and it's Nova to cut them back. Fittingly, Jimmy though spotted.
Jimmy gone
Flushed out very
Jimmy
quickly.
gone
His dab one roll over the top of the hill. With HBVP moving aside, there is no protection from that angle, and now Nova have a new threat from up top.
Just constantly being sandwiched here.
SGP की नॉक
They tell
बंदे एक नॉक है
themselves they should be fine. Damwon, taking the fight to HBVP now. Damwon, once again, from the low ground, all of a sudden finding
Vampire
themselves on a high ground with a huge advantage.
Vampire जीतेगा ये मैच
Gets really solid
ओ
angles. Gets back up
पीछे
here.
भागे उन लोगों
Not moving. Kitsune is
Vampire
not
को
either. So playing as a duo potentially for HBVP to move things forwards. Will Nova be able to survive? Vampire fragging out bacon time forward in the meantime on the melee on the north.
ST के बंदे और एक नॉक है ST नॉक हुआ क्या
That will start to crunch on in, but Fireflux, hang on a minute. The catch just
कमेंट
finally
का
stood
बता
up
तो
and took down Tixie. Needed Kitsune solo for HBVP. This could be one of the worst performances that they've had so far.
And it's because they got the zone.
Go figure.
I mean, when you get the zone and you start getting surrounded and you're playing that wide and loud, it could really bite you in the butt, and I think that is exactly what's happening here. Meanwhile, Nova just sticking strong together in this little ditch, in this little gully. They are very resilient. And close. Paraboy down to 1 HP. Is he gonna bleed out?
Paraboy no gone.
I think they tapped that revive, but if Damwon has a nade, that can
गया
so
Paraboy
much trouble.
गया नहीं बस गया भाई
Imagine so. I think there was one or so in the pocket. There's a nade over the top.
Paraboy knocked.
Damage sent over towards Nova. In the meantime, 1 million eliminated. Oh, sorry, no, going up to 5 elims. I thought that was the elimination flash, but no, they're still on 4 players alive. On the western side, probably one of the stronger positions.
फर्स्ट प्लेयर लाइव है और Vampire के बंदे नॉक ST के बंदे सारे बंदे लाइव है USG का भी सारे बंदे लाइव है Vampire 3 बंदे हो है 2 बंदे हो सकते हैं
players active for Vampire, but they are going to go for the shots underneath the bus, not quite threading the needle there as Ravenclaws move forward. You do alliance with 2 players on the ridge line, they're probably going to be able to win this one out, but they're worried about Schweppes' position. Maybe just looking to put out a smoke or 2 and go for the fight, but hang on a minute, it's 1 million coming through on the backstab of the third party towards you to alliance, and everybody's taken a toll on this fight as in roll Godlike Stalwart from the eastern side, and both of the teams in the fight get backstabbed.
Here we go. Star Wars now finally springing into action. The dominant position here, working from that high ground.
Godlike के बंदे भी आ गए भाई ST के बंदे आ गए Godlike ST भी आ गए भाई
team was already committed to fighting.
पीछे से आ गए भाई Vampire के पीछे भाई थर्ड पार्टी वाग
Vampire is so resilient, still alive somehow, some way, but that's because there's a third party.
1 million का बंदे भी फोर्थ पार्टी का है भाई
Just alive a little bit longer.
भाई क्या है भाई बच्चे लग गए भाई बस्तर हो गए भाई
that Miramar is famous for. Senke steps up, it's a spray, and Vampire crest at exactly the same time. U2 Alliance now with just one player remaining. As Vampire move on through, they have pushed back Godlike Stalwart, or Godlike Stalwart retreated from this engagement. They didn't want
तो
any
क्या कर
part
रहा है
of it,
Godplay
and
Starwood?
now Vampire are staying alive with 3.
Oh man, I feel like that's a
1
sign
million का बंदे एक नॉक है
Stalwarts, given their previous games, playing a little bit more passive. I think if this was prime
ये कर
form
रहा है 1
Stalwarts
million के
with
बंदे को
no bad games, they would have continued to press that third party with no questions asked. But it's
नोवा
still
का
okay
3
for
बंदे
them.
जिंदा
They
है
still have 4 up. They just play a more dominant position.
भाई ऑर्डर होगा तो चिकन मिलेगा सच से
After picking up more points, Catch meanwhile causing so much trouble for everyone, causing trouble for HBVP and inside of Domline.
भाई 3x
Goes down,
एक टीम के
and
साथ
there we go. The last player.
भाई वेम्पायर भी गया 1 million का भी
Another one. 1 million finishing that fight off.
I mean, it's only fitting, right? It is only fitting that that fight ended that way. I think the solo player from U2 Alliance took down either 1 or 2 players from Vampire in the meantime. 1 million obviously with that final blow to be dealt, but now 1 million need to escape and potentially Godlike Stalwart have made the right call here, disengaging from that, leaving them to their own devices because they know the sidelines are going to be strong from the south side. Down 1. Looks like they will take a tumble as well. 6 plates, 4 eliminations, a decent point scoring. Should keep them in the top 3. Nova, though, want to try and wrest that from them. Playing, at the moment, with 3 players alive, King low.
पैर वो जिंदा है
We saw that, surgical
जिमी गया
cutting right down into the middle of everyone, into that deep gully.
नोवा का जिमी कैसे लग गया
As they have split up into a 1-3 split. HVVP used to have that compound, but they were so split they could not, assert any presence. So now USG will be taking the compound and that prime position right here out of Missile.
Can Missile hold out on this spot before Godlike Stalwart get there? Can they regroup to it, or do they even want to at this stage? They know everyone's going to be looking their way. Senke, lone ranger for 1 million, comes to the regroup. They are trying to go for this crash across the field, and it looks like it is going to work out. 2 of them make it to some divots. Nova might still have vision. They're going to be able to get into cover. Order suppressed. Here comes Power as well with their 2 players. The bus goes up, but they've already made that crossing. They've already made that dash. What can you find?
That was very risky, but maybe necessary because they lost that zone at the compound. That one bus really making it there. It's huge for Donuts. That could have been the game-winning play or the game-losing play, but it works for now. But there's still a 4-man of Stalwarts that everybody needs to be wary of.
All they need is that little opener onto the missile.
2-3 के साथ बंदे जिंदा है ये जी और कोटला एसटी नोवा के बंदे 3 बंदे जिंदा 2 बंदे अभी नो एसटी के बंदे एक नॉक हो गया क्या एसटी का एक बंदे नॉक हो गया
That is going to leave Donuts USG as with a real sore one to wake up to there. 5 teams remain and Zone 9's closing in 5 seconds.
Missile, meanwhile, manning a 1-man defense against the entirety of STE. I think I saw a double knock with the Molly in the elimination feed. Now Nova has a really good chance to spring up as Stalwart is preoccupied with Missile and Order. Once again with those util, they're looking up over. Lupa gets a nice knock onto King, though. That's going to slow things down. Order needs to hit those, doesn't get it, but another player will pick that up. Nova down to 2, maybe get a revive, and Stalwarts with 3 players up still.
Finally moving them aside. Godlike Stalwart, 3 players, as you say, still trucking into the circle. Everybody's going to have to move forwards, out into the open ground. I feel like Power and Nova are at a disadvantage in this scenario at this stage. 3 players alive for them. Godlike Stalwart start to exert control over these sidelines, but Nova have swung down and moved into a favourable position. Power swept aside, and Nova looking to reclaim their position in those top 3 and challenge once again towards those top spots as 1 player's down. Scry is there. Action needs to stand tall, but they can't find the answer onto Paraboy as he fades away with the shot.
Nova ले गया सेकंड में
And he's in the sidelines of Order. You do not survive long there. And it is going to be Nova taking the chicken dinner.
That was...
चिकन नोवा को मिल गया भाई
Rewind that game from the beginning.
बस दूसरा चिकन है नोवा का दूसरा चिकन है भाई PMGC का
made their first rotation very, very far up to the northeast, and the zone constantly shifted down to the southwest, completely opposite of where they started from. And they just worked their way into so many numerous tough positions, but they pulled through. I think that is the sign of a back-to-back world championship team. I think only someone of their caliber can manage to get the win, starting from that hard northeastern position and working all the way into the southwest.
Definitely did work for it there. I think they ranked up somewhere around 12 eliminations as well, with a really solid performance coming from the Nova squad.
So I don't usually care about the travel distance stats, but I want to see it come up because I believe they traveled insanely far for that whole duration of the how hard Nova worked to work into every zone and order popping off here 1,000 damage with 5 eliminations, really spearheading everything for Nova in this match.
Really did a lot of work. Moving on in, HVVP were taken down by a bit of their push, a bit of down one, mix it all together, and it proved to be just a little bit too much to hold on that south